Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Jones. I am your instructor for college trigonometry. This video should serve as a good little introduction to the course, as well as a guide to kind of our main course webpage on MyCourses. You'll hear me use the phrase MyCourses as well as D2L kind of interchangeably. They mean the same thing. I'll also start with a disclaimer. I apologize if I do make any mistakes in here. I will make sure to note those later after I rewatch the video, but I am making multiple of these videos for my classes, so I may be jumbled. So I might say something wrong, but I will make sure to correct that later if that's the case. But yeah, so this is our course webpage. You'll start right here. You'll see announcements right on the front. There's nothing yet. There's just this one that I'll make sure to delete by the time you're watching this video. But you'll see announcements. Make sure you're checking those every day. I post these quite frequently throughout the week with important information. And sometimes if I need to get something critical out to you, announcements are the way that I will do that. So keep an eye out right there on the homepage. Don't dismiss this little widget here. Leave that open. To go through the course webpage, I'm basically going to go through this top bar. You can see where my cursor is at the top, that top menu bar. And I'll go through the webpage and I'll show you where things are. And I'll also talk about the course while I'm doing that. So I'm not going to start with content. You might think I would do that because that's the first one. That's kind of the most important, so I want to save that for the last. I am just going to go through some of these other ones fairly quickly just to show you what they are. Class list is pretty straightforward. It shows you everybody that's in the course. And you can actually use that to contact me. You can use it to contact your classmates. Maybe you want to make study groups or things like that. So yeah, that's class list. Quizzes and assignments, I'm going to click on those. Assignments, you can see here, typically in D2L, I would have this set up, or another professor would have this set up where you would submit your assignments. You'd have homework and you would submit it here. I don't like utilizing this. I think it's a little bulky for that purpose. What I have here is this is just, call it a Dropbox, where you will upload work for your exams. So after you take your exams, which I'll show you where those are located later, but after you take your exams, you will upload pictures of your handwritten work here. So these are really just Dropboxes for you to give me your photos of your work. And that's the only use for the assignments tab up here. Quizzes, I'll click on that. Really nothing here. There's one thing, but you don't, what I will call for the rest of this video and for the rest of the course, when I say the phrase quiz, I do not mean this tab. That means a separate thing. Again, I'll show you where your actual quizzes are. But this is just the name for D2L's version of hey, I'm gonna quiz you. I'm gonna give you something. We don't really have anything like that. There is just a form. This is basically a form to fill out. I don't need to go into the details of what this form is. You can click on that form and you can do that. But that form there is located in the quizzes tab. And now from here on out, when you hear me say the word quiz, I don't mean this tab. So keep that in mind. Discussions, I'll actually go here later. You're going to have weekly discussion posts, but I'll talk about those a little bit later. Now we'll get to content. And this is the bulk of where you're going to go every time you log into the webpage. You should be going here every day. You should be looking at all of this. I will note that this is my view, so it might look a little bit different than your view. For example, there are things in this exam week that I can see, but you cannot. So that'll look a little bit different, so keep that in mind. I'm probably just going to stay in my view for this video. So table of contents, it shows everything. I could scroll way far down, but let's go through each of these modules on the side here one by one. Let's start with the welcome start here and the welcome schedule and syllabus. These are just things to look at first, right? I'm not going to explain these in the video. You can click through these. You can watch this video, which you're currently watching, so you don't need to click on that because you're already watching it. Course overview, a bio about myself. The schedule and the syllabus, pretty straightforward. The syllabus has a lot of important information. I suggest you read it. I know there's a lot in there, but please read through that because there's a lot of questions that could be answered. I am going to click on the course schedule just to show you the basic outline of what our course looks like. We have 15 weeks in this course. Each week covers multiple sections of our textbook, which again, I'll show you that later. But each week we have all these sections, and you have several things to do for each of those sections. You can see the word MML pops up over and over. That is our online homework platform. Think of it as another website that you'll go to. It's called My Math Lab. It also is sometimes called My Lab Math, so MLM. You'll see both. I try to stick with MML whenever I can, but that's our online platform. In that platform, you will have homeworks and you will have quizzes, and your exams will also be located in that platform. In addition to that, you have MyCourses discussions. I say MyCourses because they're located in D2L in MyCourses, and these are discussion posts. Again, I'll talk about those later. But for each one of these sections, 6.1, 2, 3, 4, you have things to do, assignments to do in MML, in My Math Lab. We have these dates here. For the most part, these weeks, quote unquote, start on a Tuesday and they end on a Monday. I have my own reasons for that. You can ask me why if you're curious. There are some exceptions. For example, the class starts on a Monday, so that week starts on a Monday. You can see here, this week ends on a Sunday, which is a little peculiar, and you want to keep an eye on that, but that's because the next day, the Monday, is a holiday, so on and so forth. Most of these weeks are Tuesday to Monday, though. We do have fall break, nothing to do during that time. What's actually neat, I've liked doing this, and I've had students tell me that they've liked this over the last several semesters. I have made it so that our second exam and our final exam are basically finishing out the course. So once we hit November 18th, you are done with assignments and learning new material. You just have 2 exams and a nice fall break that you can relax, you can study, you can do whatever you want to do. You will have the entire week on these exams. I will note that this one ends on a Sunday because fall break starts right after that. So keep that in mind. You have the whole week to do it, so you can take it whenever you want during that week. But this is our schedule. I recommend printing this out, pin it to your desk, to the wall next to your desk or something like that. This just shows you what we're doing each time. Just given that we have roughly 2 sections per week, there's some weeks where we just have 1 section. You're usually doing a section every 3 days, let's say. So keep that in mind for a general pace of the course. But yeah, that's our course schedule. There's also, if I scroll down more, there's some important dates. You can read through these. They're pretty self-explanatory. So let's go back to the content tab. So we'll go back here and you can see several more modules here. Handouts, I won't bother clicking on that. You'll see that later in the course. My Math Lab, same thing. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. Some of these you can't actually see. I have these hidden. We can see them in my view, but you can't see them in yours. These top ones are the most important. The course home is probably where you're most often going to click. That takes you to MML. I will do that in a second to show you what it looks like. There's also a link straight to our textbook, an electronic version. You can click this link to go right to your assignments. You can click on the gradebook to go see your grades. And while we're here, let's go ahead and click on this course home and we'll see where that takes us and what it looks like. Just as a reminder, this is where you are going to go to do almost all of your assignments. Again, this is different for me than it is for you. I could view student home, but I think just to save time, I won't do that. It'll be a pretty clear view for you. I will just show you, I'll go to my assignment manager where I can edit the settings here, but I'll just kind of show you what this looks like. Here's all your assignments. There's a whole bunch of stuff. This scrolls down for a while, which is scary at first, but it won't be scary in a second. There's start dates and there's due dates for all of these. We don't do late work in our class. That's not a thing. If I allow for late work, then I'm not being fair to all my students. And so we need to be, we need to make sure I'm fair to everybody equally. That being said, if there's extenuating circumstances, please reach out to me and we can talk about it. I will note, we'll keep this on the quiet, on the down low. I am very lenient on extensions if you ask me before the due date. And when I say before the due date, I might even amend that to say before the night of the due date. If you email me at 11:58 p.m. on this day saying, hey, can I have an extension? It's before the due date. That's not quite what I'm talking about. But if you email me early and you say, hey, I've got a lot of homework, I'm going camping, I'm doing something that's going to prevent me from turning this in on time, can I have another day or two? I am very likely to give that to you, give that extension to you. So keep that in mind. What I will do is I'll look here. Let's just look right at section 6.1. I think this is a good template kind of to look at. You have one thing first. This is not an assignment at all. It is just links to the e-text book and videos for you to watch, kind of like lecture videos. It's not graded. It's not in the grade book, nothing like that. It is solely just a link for you to click on. So there's that. The concept overview exercises, these are not graded, but you have to do them in order to access the quiz, which is due at the end of the week. So you have to do these concept overview exercises. This is kind of my way of just making sure that you're not just jumping into the quiz without having, and you have no clue of what the topic is. Like, you got to know something before I let you take the quiz. So there's that. You have homework. That's pretty self-explanatory. The general order in which I would recommend doing these is your homework and the concept overview. You can kind of do those together, and then the quiz, obviously. And obviously, make sure you're reading the textbook and watching these videos. Those have proven very helpful. So you have that for every single one of these. I can scroll down. You can see this. There's all 4 of those quote-unquote assignments for each section. If I scroll down a little bit more, you can see exam 1 is in here. Your exam will be in this platform, so that's nice because you'll be familiar with your homework and your quizzes, and you'll take your exams in pretty much the same way. I scroll all the way to the bottom. Exam 2 and the final exam, same thing. I also have these reviews, which are completely optional. They are not graded. And they don't have due dates. There's nothing like that. These are great for before each exam. Work through these reviews, so you have that. And this is my math lab. I will mention that there is a grade book here. I won't click on it just because it shows everybody's stuff and things like that. But if you click on your grade book, you'll see these grades. For example, come the semester's end, you'll see grades for the reviews if you do them. Those will not get imported into our official gradebook, so you don't have to worry about that. I would honestly say this gradebook here is not official at all. Don't worry about it too much. Go to MyCourses, go to D2L for your gradebook. So that's my math lab. That's where you're going to go for most of your homework. Let's go back. We will go back to the content section. Again, just going down, we've got all these modules. Honor Lock proctoring. I'm not going to go into depth about this. There's a lot here to read. But this is basically a proctoring software. It's a Chrome extension that you will download and you'll use it. And it basically is a proctoring tool for virtual test taking, right? So we don't take these tests in person. You take them in the comfort of your own home. And so this Honor Lock is just the tool that we use to proctor you, just to make sure you're not cheating and to prevent all that. As you can see, there's some things that I keep hidden. That's my stuff. Honor Lock dashboard, this will take you to the place where you access those assignments. Again, it's all pretty straightforward. I have a lot of announcements that are posted. There's a lot of information here that you can look through. There's a bunch of FAQs and helpful links and stuff like that. One thing I will mention is that if you are uncomfortable with using Honor Lock, you can contact me and we can talk about how you can take this test at a testing center on campus. I will note that it is a bit more complicated of a process. It's not something to leave till the last minute. If you email me the day the exam is due and say, I want to take my test in the testing center, I will not be able to allow that because there's just not, it takes time to set up. I don't recommend taking it in the testing center. It's much easier for all parties involved to use Honor Lock at home, but the option is there for you if you wish. That's all kind of the intro stuff, these intro modules here. Then you can see we get into week 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's just 15 modules here for all these weeks. There's a couple little things at the end here you can look at yourself. How-to videos need math help. Let's go ahead and click on one of these random weeks just to see what it looks like. So let's click on week 4 and we'll just see it. Got a nice picture there. We have learning objectives, so you can kind of see an overview of the things you're going to learn. Show you the assignments, which again is just my math lab, homework and quizzes, discussion posts, which I have yet to show you, but I will. We get into links for this week. It's basically split up into 3 things. In the first chunk, I have videos, little extra videos of examples, almost like lecture videos. Please watch these. They are helpful. They are usually working through problems, and it shows you how to do problems. I have a link to your assignments in my math lab. This is the same link that we clicked on before. I just have it here for you just for convenience. Then I have the discussion topics, which we haven't dived deep into these at all, but I have just the links to them. You can click right here where my cursor is and it'll take you to that discussion. You can also obviously just see the discussion here and read it and know what to do. Again, just for your convenience, I'm just linking those things here in the weekly modules for your benefit. I'll click on week 7. You'll see the same thing. It's, hey, look, week 7, learning objectives, assignments. Hey, there's multiple video examples. There's a link to my math lab. There's a discussion topic, right? There you go. Pretty much the same every week. In the exam weeks, information about the exam, some study guides. I do have these hidden. I may open these up. I've kind of phased these out as I've phased in the reviews on my math lab. So you probably won't see these. Note card alternative for exams. I will mention this is just a piece of paper that you can print out that has a 3x5 box on it, just on a normal piece of paper. If you don't want to go out and buy 100 pack of flashcards or out of note cards, you can just print this one page out and then use that as your quote unquote note card for the exam. There's your weekly modules. They all look pretty much identical to one another. And you'll just click through each of these weeks to see what you got to do and watch videos and get links to everything. Fairly self-explanatory. I've done my best to really just make this easy to use, and pretty self-explanatory, pretty obvious on where you're supposed to go at all times. This leaves us last with discussions. Let's click there. And we'll see what this looks like. You already saw the discussions within each weekly module, but they're also all located right here in the discussions tab right here. General questions, you can post anything you want there. I will note that I don't get notifications when people post in these discussions. I check them every couple days. If you have a pressing question or even a personal question, please email me. ryan.jones@frontrange.edu. Really easy to remember. It's just my name with a period in the middle of it. So don't post here in general questions if it's time sensitive or if it's personal. Email me. But if you just have a general question, you can post it there. You can even use this just for math questions too if you want. Really anything. Now we go into the weekly discussions. In week 1, there's not really too much that's like math related. Introductions, just tell us about yourself. I have a discussion on equation editor just for you to practice kind of doing math typing, because you will have to do that. So you can see I'll have you type this expression out. Graphing discussion, same type of thing, but with graphing. And then we go down, there's just discussions for all these weeks. If I expand one of these, you can see here's a discussion. Usually these involve doing a problem, watching a video, posting a problem of something you've done yourself, and whether it's right or wrong, and other students can comment, they can help you out, they can, do any sort of form of communication that you want. Some of these weeks have multiple discussions, some of them just have one. You have to do all of them each week. So, there you go. These discussions are fairly straightforward. Their purpose is for you to talk with your classmates. If you think about in most in-person classes, you talk with your classmates frequently during those. Hopefully, right? If it was my in-person class, I would make sure to put time into the course where I let you talk to your students about problems that you're doing. Talk to your fellow classmates, I should say, about problems that you're doing. That's what the purpose of these is. So please use them in that capacity, because as this is an online class, we don't see each other face to face. So please use these as much as possible. One thing I will note with these discussions, it is difficult to grant extensions on them, even in extenuating circumstances, because the purpose of them is for your classmates to read them, to respond to them, to communicate through them. And so if somebody asks for an extension on a week 2 discussion and they want to post it in the middle of week 3, well, the time for that has kind of passed already, because everybody else has already done the work for week 2, and your discussion post doesn't really serve a purpose in that capacity anymore. So try to do these on time. Again, there are ways that I can work with you. So if it pops up, email me and let me know. But yeah, there's our discussions. Grades, pretty self-explanatory. You click there, it shows you your grades. And there you go. That is pretty much our course webpage. I haven't gone into some details about how much are my exams weighted towards my overall grade, and my homework is weighted, and do I need a webcam? Yes, you do, for your exams. Do I need a calculator? Maybe you should read the syllabus, right? So there's other things for you to look through. I don't want this video to be crazy long, so please read the syllabus. Please click through all the stuff here. MyCourses D2L does a great job of showing you what you've read and what you haven't. So there's little check marks next to things after you open them. So please read through all that. I've just tried to give you a general template of, or not template, but show you what the course page looks like and talk a little bit about what you're expected to do. So with that, I'm sure there's things that I've forgotten that are important, but they're all covered somewhere in the course, so go find them. I'm excited to teach you trigonometry. Please, I really shouldn't be saying this at the end of the video. I should have started the video with this instead of even just saying my name. Please, if you have questions on this math, on what we're doing, email me. I am here to help you. You are not expected to just find out all of this info on your own, or just reading a textbook and watching videos. I am here to help you. If you're struggling with stuff, with content, if you have a lot of personal stuff going on and you need some extensions or you need extra help, reach out to me early, because I can help you with those things. That's my job. That's what they pay me to do. So please email me with any questions that you have. I am happy to help. Even though this is an online course and you won't really ever see me face to face in person, that does not mean that I am not here to help you. So keep that in mind. With that, I'll go ahead and end the video, and I'm excited for a fun semester.